I want to talk about harm reduction. I think it's been extremely misunderstood because of the vocal minority that talk so much about it. The majority of people out there that hear harm reduction, they think risk reduction with needle exchange, Narcan, consumption sites, things like that. Harm reduction itself is such a bigger, broader, more encompassing topic. It goes from a philosophical view of how we actually treat people. In the behavioral health field, we've had this do no harm for so long that we think about that, but we didn't really realize that a lot of our own programs were actually doing harm. So harm reduction actually has a foundation with trauma-informed care, which we can buy and we understand so easily, but we don't connect that with harm reduction very often. It's also connected with the different fundamental approaches as to how we serve people. Everybody will say that, I have a person-centered program, and then turn around and have programmatic rules. Well, I understand. Funding makes you limited on certain things that you can do, but we could do better in the behavioral health field as far as how we actually serve people when it comes to a harm reduction approach. The harm reduction approach really is about safety. For so many years, we've had people come into our programs that are looking for help, and we don't actually get completely honest with them because we're going to look at an abstinence-based program. We're going to look at this as these are the outcomes and successes that we need, instead of gauging with each individual quality of life. And let's face it, quality of life is the end goal. For so many years, we've focused on abstinence, or we focused on, meeting these program outcomes, and quality of life necessarily hasn't been as upfront and preeminent as what we would like to see. We could change that. We could start looking more at quality of life and realize that for a long time we've missed what we're trying to treat. So many people will say substance use disorder actually have an underlying co-occurring issue. Many will have a trauma connected to it. And instead of treating the underlying stuff, we address the substance use first. And the substance use, more often than not, is a symptom or a byproduct of the underlying issues. And if you continuously treat the symptoms, you actually miss the person. And the time within a session when somebody is a counselor or a peer or a case manager is looking at the abstinence point of view, and they forget to look at the quality of life point of view, and the individual they're serving has this stigma connected to it that I can't actually talk to you about my belief on substance use because you're an abstinence-based program, we miss the person. And we've been doing this in treatment for so many years. We need to start looking at what goes deeper. We need to look at trauma. It's like if you go to a doctor with a broken arm, the doctor treats the pain with a pain reliever and sends you on your way. Well, if he didn't set the bone and take care of it, then the pain will return and the symptoms will return. And we wouldn't blame the individual for needing to go back to the doctor multiple times to get more pain medications for the symptoms of pain from a broken arm because he had a broken arm. But yet we do it with substance use, behavioral health, and different things like that. We need to step back and really start looking at what are we really doing in this field, in the behavioral health field, when we're trying to reach people. We've accepted trauma-informed care as if it's an adopted child. We believe in it, we do all this, but at the same instance, we don't recognize sometimes that that's also just very simply the way the office looks when you walk in. That can cause trauma, and that's harm. That's where trauma-informed care and harm connect. And it's also interesting that you look at Ruggieri and you look at this person-centered approach that every single program will claim to have. Well, if it was truly person-centered, then you would truly be meeting the individuals where they're at. And if their initial goal may not be what you think it should be, you would still be meeting them where they're at and helping them reach goals. We know strength-based programs are extremely successful because we look at building strengths rather than tearing somebody down. The old days of tearing somebody down to rebuild them is archaic, and it does damage. And we need to step back as a profession and realize that these things can be different. We can do something different, and we can start reaching people in more ways. Harm reduction isn't a way to come in and rebuild your program and just say, woohoo, let everything go wild. What it is starting taking some of the principles that can work within a program and just adding layers to it. We don't ever want to take away something that's successful, but if I can add another layer to where you reach another couple of percentage of people, then that's a success, and that's what we need to start with. I appreciate your time. If you need to reach out to me further, my name is Ken Vick, Recovery Consulting LLC. It's Ken Vick at recoveryconsulting.net or 816-533-6220. Look for more videos. I'm going to continue to post and continue to talk about better ways that we can serve our communities.